Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another live stream. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Hope you guys are ready to rock and roll and have another wonderful, wonderful day out here in the internets, the live streams. You already know how we do. So anyways, today's video, we're going to be talking about, well, how did I end up out here in Merida, Yucatan? Now, I know some of you guys have been watching me for a while. You guys pretty much know the story. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I just put this shirt on right now. I'm still trying to get the collar going and all that stuff. I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I pop the collar, leave it like that? What do you think? Or leave it down? I wore my most Yucatecan, what is it, like a foreigner shirt, expat shirt I could find out there. You know, basically, I love wearing this when I go to the beach or I'm hanging out in some of the touristy areas so you can get some of that extra love. Or at least, you know, have people confuse me and think I'm just a tourist. But anywho's, yeah, you know, some of you guys that have been watching me, listening to me, following me for a long time, you guys probably already heard the story multiple times, but as you guys already know, the channel has been growing and growing a lot lately. And well, there's a lot of people out there that have no clue, no idea, you know, what my story is, how I ended up in Merida, why I chose Merida, and so on and so forth. Because this is a question I actually get asked a lot. Why I chose Merida, why I'm living in Merida, and so on and so forth. Again, I've been here in this city for over 6 years now. I moved to Merida in early June, like I think June 4th or something like that. I don't know, June 1st, I don't know, but early June of 2018. And so as of today, it's already, you know, 6 years and 2 months. Or 3 months, 6 years and almost 3 months. So it's been a while since I've been here. In fact, it's been the longest I've been in one spot outside of Miami, which is where I'm from. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, which is why my name is Jose Arteaga y hablo español porque my parents are Cuban. And, you know, my parents are Cuban. I grew up in Miami, and I just, again, grew up in a completely different spot of the United States that, you know, than most of you out there in the audience come from. Because I honestly, I knew Miami was unique, you know, when I was living down there and all that good stuff. But it really wasn't until years later when I started traveling and seeing the rest of the USA that I quickly realized that, you know, the area of Miami, Florida was completely different than the rest of the country. Now, granted, the whole United States is very different. You know, we can't compare, well, I mean, you can obviously compare anything, but I'm saying there's a big difference between, you know, West Virginia and, you know, Seattle, Washington, and Kansas, and Missouri, New Orleans, Florida. Again, not just Miami, Florida, but multiple areas of Florida. Same as California. You can't compare even Southern California, where LA is. Again, you just go a little further down to San Diego, you're in another world. You go a little further up, you're in another planet. And you go all the way up to the top of California, and you're like, where am I? You're somewhere completely different. And, you know, for some people out there in the audience, you know, you don't want to leave that triangle area. But anyways, I digress. The point is that the whole country is very different. But, you know, there are a lot of similarities between most areas in the USA. But Miami is truly, truly unique for many reasons. And so growing up in Miami, again, I'm 43 years old. Actually, I'm 43 in September. I'm actually 42 at the moment. But I'm going to be 43 real soon. And basically, my whole life, you know, I didn't really leave Miami until my late 20s, early 30s, you know, when I started to travel and do the vacation thing and all that good stuff. But it wasn't until like my early 30s that I actually left Miami for good. And I, you know, again, moved all the way to the other opposite end of the country. And I started living in Seattle, Washington. And for me, you know, that was a bigger culture shock than actually coming out here to Mexico. So, you know, again, these are the things that, you know, we're going to be talking about today. But we're really going to discuss, you know, why I ended up here in Merida. which is, honestly, it's pretty short story, but not really. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole story, as you guys already know. I can't just keep it to like a 5-minute thing. It's more like a 5-hour thing. But we're gonna keep it to like around an hour, give or take, as to my whole story of being out here in Merida. But yeah, that was one thing that I noticed, when I started traveling around the USA, is that, living in Miami, born and raised in Miami, growing up in Miami. Again, I was born in 81. So I was there during the whole Scarface scenario situation. I grew up in the 90s in Miami, which again, was another world compared to where it is today in 2024. I cannot believe we're in the future. All right, it's pretty insane that we're in 2024, right? Of all places. So the thing is that when I ended up landing out here in Merida, it was a very easy transition for me, when it was all said and done, just simply because of, the language barrier. I didn't have to deal with that very much since I spoke Spanish, fluent Spanish. I was also already used to the vibe, in a sense, the Caribbean vibe, the weather, and many, many things about the region. So it was very easy for me to basically assimilate and stay here. Because again, like I was saying earlier, 6 years and 3 months. That's the longest I've ever been in one spot outside of Miami. And it's basically because, well, it reminds me so much of back home. So, all right, let me check out the chat. I want to shout out to everyone out there. By the way, I want to give a super duper quadruple super shout out there to my really, really good friends out there in the audience, Nino, Tommy, and Melania. Shout out to all of you guys out there. You guys know who you are and what you do, and I really appreciate you guys, and I want to give you guys a super duper special shout out. So again, shout out to Nino, Tommy, and Melania. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys, and hope to see you guys out here soon. I know you guys are making your way back out here, so or making your way out here. So anyways, I digress. Shout out to all of you, and shout out to everyone else out there in the audience listening to me right now, watching, and those of you guys that are never heard of my story, and hopefully you guys are in for a treat and get to hear my story as to how I ended up here and why I'm still here, and so on and so forth. But anyway, shout out to everyone out there in the audience, and so happy that you guys are enjoying the channel so far and everything. So Diana J says, do you think that you and your wife will eventually move to Guadalajara? Seems like you both loved it. Well, I didn't want to start off on this note, but you never know. For right now, we're not leaving, okay? We're just not leaving, currently, because, we got family out here. We got things out here. We got things that are tying us down out here. But yeah, honestly, I know a lot of you guys kind of figured it out, by watching some of the videos and stuff like that after we got back from Guadalajara, how much we truly love the area. And for me, being a big city guy and, loving Miami, loving Los Angeles and things like that. When we went to Guadalajara, I quickly fell in love, and Christian fell in love. So we both loved it very much. And, we do plan on going back for sure. At the very least, at the very minimum to visit, but we never know what the future holds. And that's the way I like to live my life, okay? I don't like to tie myself down to anything or marry myself to anything, well, outside of my wife and my horse and my dog. But other than that, and you guys. But other than that, I really don't try to marry myself to anything in the sense of like, like the great, man, I can't believe it. Bruce Lee said, be like water. You got to flow like water. So, yeah, I try to, emulate that. And, what does it try to, what is it like, emulate the properties of water? Meaning, sometimes I'm a hard rock like ice. Sometimes I'm liquid. Sometimes I'm very gassy. It is what it is. Even though I'm always blaming the gas on Lambo. Bruh. But anywho's, the point I'm making is that, we've been contemplating moving out of here for years, honestly. And it has nothing to do with the area. We love it out here. We really do, which is why we haven't left, okay? Every time we go on vacation or go anywhere, we do see other parts of Mexico, and we love other parts of Mexico. There's always something why we don't end up out there, but you never know. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, just stay tuned. And you never know where we're going to end up. whether it's in another part of the Yucatan where we are right now, or if we end up, in Guadalajara, or who knows where we end up. Okay, you never know. We might be on another planet, for all you know. But stay tuned, and you will definitely find out in due time. But as for now, we're sticking around. This is our home. We love it out here. We have things, like I said, tying us down here for the moment, and it's just more, what's the word I'm looking for? What is it? Easier for us, to just stick around here for a while, and then once we're done with the things that we're done here, then we will revisit that whole situation and go from there. So, but yeah, out here, like I said, the reason it was so easy for me to get used to this area. I mean, look, how about this? Right now, okay, it's still very hot. It's over 100 degrees outside, and we are in the rainy season, and obviously it cools down a bit, but I mean, how much could it cool down? You know what I mean? You already know it's in the 80s, high 80s with humidity. I still need to sleep with my air conditioner when, again, at night when I go to bed. But Christian, recently, as it's cooled down a little bit, she sleeps outside. In her hammock with a fan. And it's because it's too cold for her in the air conditioner. And she prefers to sleep in this weather. All right. But which I mean, are you kidding me? I'm breaking a sweat even before I go to bed. All right. So that's how hot and humid it is out here. So for some people out there in the audience, well, you're welcoming this. You cannot wait to, burn your coats, your sweaters and all that stuff, and come out here and live in paradise. I myself, I think I own one sweater or something like that, because I've always lived in warm climates, and I've never been a fan of cold weather or anything. But I do have like a gazillion shorts, and I wear my tank tops, or what tank tops or whatever it is, and so on and so forth. So for me, and for her, we both like the heat. Obviously, she likes the heat a lot more. So that's also something that we always consider. Because as much as we love, other areas of Mexico, a lot of areas in Mexico are not hot. And if we're going to be hot, we would rather be on the beach, all right, than in the desert. Okay, it's as simple as that. And and then the other regions, that are cold or cooler, they're up in the mountains, which is where most Mexicans live, and most of Mexico lives, which is, again, areas like Mexico City, Querétaro, Guanajuato, Guadalajara, and we can go on and on. But out here where I live, I mean, here, I'll show you exactly where I live. Again, nope, not there. Well, no, that's Guadalajara. There, this is my backyard, literally. Either this or this, okay? So this is basically where I live, out here. And so for me, coming from Miami, I mean, this is home. This is what I'm used to. But, so yeah, this is why we've been out here for so long. So, okay, you guys, okay, now I feel like we've already gone, 13 minutes. Wow, I talk a lot. Okay, so let's get into the story, or let's get into how I ended up out here in Merida, Yucatan. So, again, super long story short, how did I end up out here in Merida? Basically, I put my finger on a map, the map, right? And it landed here. Now, again, it's a little bit more complicated than that. But that's basically what it boils down to. My story was, and I'll give you a super short version. By the time 2018 rolled around, I was going through a lot of troubles. Financial troubles, life troubles. Okay, we've all been there. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's life is peachy. Sometimes it sucks. This was a time in my life where it was a combination. Meaning it was a good portion of my life because I was living in LA, but it was a really crappy part of my life because I was dealing with a lot of legal troubles that basically found me as I was traveling across the country, and I was traveling through northern Texas, Childress, Texas, to be exact, for anyone that knows the area. It's the middle of nowhere. But basically, again, I got pulled over by some corrupt cops in the area, and they tried to they did make my life a living hell by basically arresting me on false pretenses, and I had to fight my way, out of there. Meaning I had to, fight, what is it like? Legally pay my way out of jail. And then once I was out of jail, I moved to California, never to step foot in Texas again. I moved out to California, and I was trying to, again, buy my freedom back. Because you know how it is in the U.S. these days where, you get wrongfully arrested or you get in trouble or whatever it is, and basically you have to prove your innocence on your dime. Okay, so if you want to be proved innocent, you have to spend a lot of money to prove your innocence. Otherwise, well, they'll just give you a record and they'll just give you, certain stamps, right? On, your permanent record, to make sure that, certain doors close and for you, and you don't have all the same options available that a good citizen that hasn't, been caught up in the system has to deal with. But anyways, I digress. So while I was in LA, again, after losing everything, getting arrested, being rock bottom, okay, for like the 16th time in my life. I don't know if that was, number 13 or whatever. But anyways, the point is that I was at rock bottom in LA and I was dealing with all this stuff. And, I was barely making it. Oh, by the way, don't forget to hit the likes, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. But yeah. The point is that so I was in LA and barely making it, financially, barely keeping afloat, simply because I had to pay the courts in Texas, to continue the procedures in order for me to get my freedom back. By freedom back, meaning that, I had to pay lawyers, to go on my behalf to the Texas courts in order to prove my innocence, which eventually I was able to do. All right. Because they had no evidence whatsoever. The only evidence that they would have against me, as you know, is if I would have gone to Texas court and or any, this is for any situation. Don't go to court if you can avoid it. And meaning, don't you personally go. Have a lawyer go for you, okay, and represent you and all this other stuff, because it gets really, really dicey. Once you stand in front of these individuals, these authority figures. That's how they get their evidence, okay? By basically, making you talk, and any word you say will be held against you in the court of law. So if you can avoid talking, aka send a lawyer, to represent you through a proxy, well, they can't get any evidence. So if they don't have any evidence and they're corrupt individuals, basically trying to hit you up with a crime that you didn't commit, or they have no proof of whatever it is that they're doing. Well, if you don't talk, well, they got nothing. So that's why I avoided Texas, and I did everything through lawyers in California. But anyways, I digress. As I was in California, I was living in basically a room no bigger than, actually smaller than the room I'm in right now. Okay, I'm in my office, all right, in a house. All right. When I was in LA, I could only afford a room half this size, and I had to live with a bunch of individuals, meaning that it was a 3-bedroom apartment. Yeah, that's right. A 3-bedroom apartment with one shared bathroom, and I was the oldest one there. Everyone else there, was in their 20s, and they went out to LA, to follow the dream. I want to be an actor. I want to work in Hollywood or whatever, And so basically I moved in, with these people, and my share of the rent and utilities was $1,100. So I had to pay that. I had to pay the courts. I had to pay, gasoline for my car because I was Ubering and working and doing gigs. And so, all my expenses at the end of the day, I was able to meet them. I was able to work hard enough to pay for my expenses. But then the situation in Texas just kept getting more expensive, and they knew that at the end of the day, they weren't going to be able to really get what they want out of me, aka money, unless I appeared in court. And so, and they kept, asking for more. And so, long story short, I was able to, I was not able to pay them. Meaning it got to a point where it's just they were asking for so much, and they were doing, being so extra that I was up against the wall, up against a rock and a hard place, and I was already stressing out. How am I going to pay for this? And then immediately as that was happening, all my roommates told me, "Hey, Jose, sorry to give you like last minute notice, but we're not going to renew the lease, and we're leaving in 3 weeks. We're going back to Alabama." I'll never forget it. They were all from Alabama. It was hilarious. But anyways, so they originally came from Alabama. They couldn't attain the Hollywood dream, and within a year or so, which is a very typical story in LA, they were on their way back. But with that said, I only had 3 weeks, okay, to figure out where I was gonna go live. I had 3 weeks to move out and find a new place. So, well, whatever. I had nowhere to go, so I was looking around, and this is 6+ years ago, and immediately I quickly found out, I can't rent an apartment. I don't have enough. I mean, I have enough for the monthly rent. Again, it's going to be a little more expensive than $1,100, but I didn't have enough for the deposit, the second deposit, this fee, that fee. I definitely wasn't going to pass, the credit check, all these freaking things that they asked for. Again, this is 6 years ago. I can imagine today. But, again, everything from credit check to background check to all these things that I had to pay for, and, plus all the other expenses of moving in there. Again, like the deposit and the this and that. It was just like, oh my God, no, there's no way. I'm never going to be able to afford this. So I was like, all right, I guess I got to move into another shared apartment or house, again, find another room to move into. As I was doing that, again, I couldn't find anywhere. I couldn't land anywhere. And it was just too short notice. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. If I don't find a place really quick, I'm going to end up on the street. I'm going to either be living out of my car or be living, on the street, whether Skid Row or whatever. Either one of those they were not options for me, meaning I'm not going to, no, bad. Okay, so I was like, all right, I got to figure this out. And obviously, yes, I mean, I did have friends in the area because, I when I was hitting that rock bottom, after the Texas situation, I had a choice of moving back to Miami or stay in LA. And at that time, I was like, well, I got more friends and people that can help me out in LA, people that I used to help out back in the day. So really good friends. And they were the ones that were begging me to stay in LA. And in Miami, well, again, there was a reason I left Miami 11 years ago or whatever. So anyways, the point is that I was like, all right, Miami's not going to work, so I'm going to stay in LA. And I'm glad I did, because I even made more friends, and everything was just better. But for anyone that really, really, really knows me, I don't like to be an imposition on people, okay? I know I am already too much as an individual, so I really don't try to be an extra imposition on anybody out there. So with that said, the last thing I wanted to do was, crash on someone's couch, or, ask them, hey, can I live here, stay here with you, whatever, until I get back on my feet. That was a big no-no, even though I had couches to land on. But I was like, no. I would rather live out of my car, yada, yada, yada. But again, I was not going to live on my friend's couch. I was not going to live out of my car, and I definitely wasn't going to pitch a tent. You know what I mean? By the way, I don't even know how to pitch a tent, but I definitely wasn't going to pitch a tent, in an Echo Park, okay, and live amongst, those people there. Again, it is what it is. So I was like, all right, what can I do? So at that point, I didn't have much money left, but I knew, well, I don't have to pay rent this month, yada, 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 and so I was able to save up a few bucks, and so I had like around $2,500, $3,000 to my name after I sold the few things that I had, and I was able to, work as much as I could to save as much as I can in that short amount of time. And I was like, all right, where can I go? Where can I land? It's not like I had a lot of luggage or things to my name. I basically filled a few bags, that I had, like a book bag, and a piece of luggage. I filled that up as much as I can. And that was everything I owned. Because everything, again, a few years prior was taken away from me, everything. So, I fit everything in a few bags. And so I was like, all right, where can I go outside of the USA? The reason I said outside of the USA is because, well, I said, all right, let me see if I can land in small town USA, in some small town in the middle of the USA. And as I started investigating that, I was like, oh, no. Oh, wait a minute. This is just as bad as living on the street or out of my car. I'm definitely not going to go and move to a small town in the USA. Plus, my name is Jose Arteaga. I got an accent. I come from Miami. I'm definitely not going to fit in, all right, in any small town USA out there, all right? I wasn't. Otherwise, I would have done that. So I was like, all right, I guess got to leave the country. And the reason I chose to leave the country is because the whole thing with Texas really started to ramp up in the weeks prior to me leaving. Again, I was looking for a place to live, and then these people were just harassing me even more than usual, and even to the point where they were going to send a bounty hunter. I always like to say Dog the Bounty Hunter. That would have been pretty hilarious, but a bounty hunter to come get me for unpaid, bills. Again, unpaid fines that were levied upon me, and a bunch of other crap that, again, at the end of the day, I was able to prove my innocence. Again, I didn't do anything wrong, but again, I digress. The point is that, like, all right, I'm gonna leave the country. Why? Well, because I basically did a Google search and like, hey, can a bounty hunter find me in another country? And I quickly saw Dog the Bounty Hunter had an episode where he was chasing some dude, some dude with some minor offense, whatever. And so he chased him into Mexico, and he arrested the guy in Mexico. And then the Mexican authorities, okay, let that guy go and arrested Dog the Bounty Hunter for kidnapping, okay, and wrongful, arrest, and violence and aggression, whatever. And they actually deported Dog the Bounty Hunter, and they let the other guy free. Because as they were explaining, it's like, no, you have no right to do that. And, what did that guy do? Oh, he, some petty crimes back in the USA, some bull crap. He didn't pay, somebody, or he didn't, it was some bull crap, okay? And, definitely, basically along the lines of what they were accusing me of, drugs. I mean, geez, anyways, it's Texas. So the point is that, by as soon as I found that information out, I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm not gonna definitely, like I said, because now I had another option, meaning I wasn't gonna live on the couch, I wasn't gonna be pitching a tent, and I wasn't gonna live out of my car. But now I had an extra thing, which was, I'm gonna be living in jail, because again, they're gonna come get me. Okay, and they had every right to, because, the USA, right? So they had every right to come get me and put me in jail and throw away the key over nothing. So I was like, oh, no, all right, I'm out. I am out. Now, years prior, I had always thought, all right, especially when I had money and, I had more resources, I was like, all right, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to move to another country. I'm going to go get me another passport. I'm going to live that life, do that thing. And because I didn't have the balls to do it, okay, because I didn't have, the ability to do it, just because I was scared, because I believed a lot of the same things that most of you guys believe out there in the audience about Mexico, I didn't do it. And it wasn't until I had my back up against the wall and I did not have any other choice that I had to go and do this, all right? And so, by the way, I apologize. There's a lot of loud noise out there. There's a bunch of dogs barking. It must be someone getting a delivery or something. But anyways, and so to me, I already kind of had that in the back of my mind, that whole situation where I was going to have to find another place. I was going to have to, move, outside of the country, because that was like my only option. Now, immediately, I was like, all right, what are the places you wanted to go, Jose? So I checked out Spain. I was like, all right, I cannot even afford the plane ticket out there, let alone living in Spain at that time. I was like, all right, let me check Argentina. Kind of similar situation. I started, kind of searching a few Latin American countries that I was already familiar with. Yes, I even thought about going to Venezuela, all right? Because I figured, well, I bring my knowledge out there, the dollar arbitrage. I was just doing, trying to convince myself to go out there. Thank God I didn't, because as soon as I looked into going to Venezuela, it said U.S. citizens not permitted. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I guess, I didn't have a choice. So when it all boiled down to, it was just like, all right, I had to find a country, and I had to find a country real quick. So I went to a website, okay, online, that basically puts all the cities in the world in order. Like when you go to Amazon and you are looking for a spatula, and you basically click on the option, what is the cheapest spatula all the way to the most expensive spatula. All right, so I did the same thing with these cities. What is the cheapest city to live in the world all the way to the most expensive city. And so as soon as I did that, yeah, I got a bunch of cities, like in India and Africa and, all these places that I'm definitely not going to move to for too many obvious reasons. So I was like, oh, geez, I'm going down the list. I don't see anything in Latin America. And then immediately I saw this place called Merida, Yucatan, Mexico. And I'm like, whatever. I'm thinking, before I even clicked on it, I'm thinking, this place must be crazy dangerous for it to be the the cheapest place to live in Mexico for the most part. It's like, all right, this place has to be cartel central. There has to be a reason, dangerous as hell. But whatever, let me at least click on it. Let me check it out. Let me at least look, and it doesn't hurt to click, right? So I clicked on Merida Yucatan, and immediately, I was able to find the video really quickly on YouTube that Expedia made. I'll never forget it. And basically talking about Merida. And I was like, Expedia or Travelocity or one of these things. And I was like, So I checked out the video and I was like, wow, really? This place? This place is the cheapest place in Mexico? Huh, that's interesting. Let me look on the map and see where Merida is. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even know where the hell Merida was, all right? So I checked out on the map and I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is actually on the beach. Oh, wait a minute. Cancun is like a stone's throw away. Oh, wait a minute. This is as close as I'm going to get to Miami, all right, as possible. And also be as far away from Texas as possible. So I was like, interesting. So I started doing some research. Obviously, I didn't find anything. I only found a few videos and articles, not much talking about the area. But since I know Spanish, I was able to dig a little further. And I was like, I was convinced, I convinced myself, like, all right, this is, I guess we're going to Merida, because it seemed like the safest option, the cheapest and the safest. And that's what I was really thinking about. So I said, all right, I guess Merida it is, let's not waste any more time. Time is a ticking, I got to get out of here soon. So immediately I started to do research on a plane ticket, how to get out there, Airbnb, yada, yada, yada. And so I bought my plane ticket one way. Okay. And again, remember, this is over 6 years ago. Just to give you context as to, why there was no information on Merida. So I got my plane ticket and I got myself an Airbnb, the cheapest option I can kind of find. Again, I've traveled enough to be close to the center of the city, yada, yada, yada. So I got me a Airbnb and a plane ticket. And when it was all said and done, I had only $1,500 US left to my name, okay, after the Airbnb and the one-way plane ticket to get out here. And I landed here with, again, just the clothes on my back, a few bags, my laptop, which is where I used to make all my videos on. All right, now I got a nice little setup here, but I used to just make all my videos, make everything happen, with my laptop and a really crappy GoPro. And that's what I was, using. And so basically, I moved out here, and as soon as I landed out here, again, I got the videos on my website. I got the videos, uploaded, as to my first days out here. But the minute I landed here, I was like, oh my God, I'm in Cuba. Again, I didn't know anything about nothing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in the historic, because I was in the historic center, again, over 6 years ago, before, a lot of the improvements that, we've seen in the last 6 years here to Merida, which has changed a lot. So I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this, I can't believe I'm here, but I'm here. All right, let's make the best of it. Now, a few days after I was here, and I started going out and about, and I started meeting people, and before I knew it, I was already dating, making friends. I was like, wow, this is incredible. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I met this one chick, that we were dating for a little bit, and she basically, she had a car, career, the whole thing. And so she's like, hey, let me, whatever, come hang out with me. I'm like, all right, whatever. So she would drive me around the city, and as I was driving around the city with her, I was like, oh, well, wait a minute. This looks like Miami. This feels like Miami, or the neighborhood where my mom lives, or, certain aspects that were very similar. The more north I would go in the city, the more I realized, oh, wait a minute. This is just like back home, if not better, probably way better. And so on. And so I was like, this is interesting. Because I immediately when I landed, I thought I was like in the, the third world country. And then, about a week into being here, I was like, oh, this is not a third world country. All right. This is definitely, a place that, obviously we're in the middle of nowhere out here in the middle of the jungle. But it was in the middle of nowhere, and it was not a third world country by any stretch of the imagination. So I was like, all right, whatever. So it was great. So that's how I landed out here in Merida. So in that 1 month time span, I got to learn so much about the area, and I got to learn so much of the people here and everything here. And I didn't have anywhere to go. only had 1,500, to my name, and only had a few bucks trickling in. Bucks meaning I only had like $10, $20, $50, from time to time trickling in from these little gigs I would do, editing a video for somebody, I'm doing some online work for people, just earning a few bucks here and there, to help supplement my income. And so I was like, all right, I gotta find a place to live. So within that month, I found a place to live, which is the place that, again, you guys saw me move into as well. And I lived there for almost 2 years. It was basically up until a little after I got married to Christian that we ended up here. We moved here in August, I think. Yeah, August of 2020. All right. And again, in the middle of the pandemic, right? So we moved out here in August of 2020. So up until, up to that point, we were, I was living in the other place for 2 years. Okay. So yeah, 2 years and a month or two. And then we moved here. Which again, now we're 4 years here, okay, in this house or this place that we moved to, okay. Actually, we moved. Okay, anyway, so let's stay on the topic. All right, so we were in Merida, and being in Merida, basically, the longer I was here, the more I realized, oh, this place is awesome. This place is really awesome because it was basically, look, I left Miami for many reasons, okay? And when I came out here, a lot of the good reasons that I missed from back home, well, they were here, meaning the weather, the beach, there were nice people, everyone, mostly people speaking Spanish customs, Spanish lifestyle. Again, Mexico, Mexicans. There was Cubans here because of the close proximity to Cuba, to Florida, and so on and so forth. So there was some Cuban influence, definitely Caribbean influence, definitely a laid-back lifestyle, and I could go on and on. And then, so all these things put together, I was like, well, this place is awesome. I love it here. And eventually down the line, about a year after me living here, I met Christian. We were dating for a while, and then before you know it, we got married. Again, as you guys know, I was here on an expired tourist visa, and I needed to, again, get a temporary residency at some point. And so I just said, hey, want to get married? And we got married, and boom, here we go. I'm about to become a citizen soon. And as soon as I start working on the citizenship. But, how I ended up landing in Merida is, again, it's almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not as exciting, okay, as some people might think. How I got here, yes, but meaning how I chose Merida and why I stayed here in Merida, that's not that exciting because a lot of people, most of you guys in the audience, especially today, 2024, August of 2024, we're about to be in 2025 for crying out loud, but in today's world, well, most of you guys that are thinking about moving to Mexico, which, by the way, back then was still not a thing. It was still, just for those crazy folk, crazy people, that just, want to leave the USA for whatever reason. But now it's a lot more common for a lot of people to want to leave the USA and go somewhere else. But back then, what was I saying? Yeah. Things were very different. And so, obviously back then, Merida, for many reasons, was the cheapest place in Mexico. Fast forward to today, now it's one of the most expensive places in Mexico, okay? Because there's been a lot of popularity with this area. That has nothing to do with me. Everyone, wants to, not everybody. Some people kind of blame me, in a good, playful way. Blame me for bringing so many people to this area and this region. But the reality is that this area and this region has been doing a lot to grow and a lot to attract foreign investment, national investment. There's a lot of Mexicans moving here. There's a lot of foreigners moving here, not just Americans and Canadians, but a lot of foreigners, coming out here. A lot of foreign investment, a lot of growth, a lot of growth potential, a lot of things like that. So let's just say that you are, an investor and you're living in some part of the world and you're looking for the next new spot. Well, a lot of people are coming out here, okay, and investing out here. Hey, I'm going to build an apartment building. I'm going to build a mall. I'm going to build whatever. Okay, so the thing is that if all these things eventually made made Merida more expensive. In fact, to the point where it got extremely expensive. And so this region now all of a sudden started to turn into, not Miami per se, but Palm Beach. and or the Hamptons or whatever. And I mean, I know, those areas are completely different than here, but what I'm trying to say is that all of a sudden, as more and more development started happening out here, it started to become a little bit more of a playground for the rich. Okay, and again, kind of like the Miami area, South Florida area, where there's a big, huge income disparity, and so on and so forth, and so in a different kind of lifestyle, and so on and so forth. So this region started like blowing up in that sense, and now before you know it, again, people of all walks of life, but people with money were starting to really come out here, and it really started to change that dynamic in the last 6 years that I've been here. But again, the main reason I moved out here, it's not as sexy as a lot of people out there think, because a lot of people, most of you guys, in the audience, how you guys are doing your homework now in order to find a place to live. So a lot of you guys out there in the audience, again, you're in a different position today than I was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I mean, even if I wanted to do more research and homework on cities moving to Mexico, there was only like 2 or 3 YouTubers that were doing stuff. But for the most part, there was not that much information. But fast forward to today, there's like 1 million YouTubers living all over Mexico, giving you all kinds of information. So it's a very different thing. And so, if I had that information, handy to me before I moved out here, I probably maybe would have landed somewhere else. I don't know. All right. But the reason I landed here was basically just because it was the cheapest place at the time, and it was as close as possible to the weather and the culture that I was used to. Because even LA was too cold for me, coming from South Florida. Okay. So, again, I come from the swamp. All right, so LA was still too cold for me, because I'll never forget. Again, I came out here in June, okay, of 2018, and when I came out here, it was still cold in LA. I was cold, and then when I landed here, I got punched in the face, okay, literally by a wall of humidity and heat, and I was like, I started to defrost finally, because I was living on the West Coast for a long time, and it finally started to defrost, okay? And I started to feel right, and it felt good. I know most people get hit in the face by that wall of humidity or whatever, and you can't wait to get out of here. Not necessarily me. But anywho's, what I was trying to get at is the fact that in today's world, you guys out there in the audience, before you move out to Mexico, even if you are on a short time frame like me, you had like a month to figure out where you're going to land, or if you got months, years to plan it out, well, there's a lot of stuff that you guys can do. There's a lot of research that you guys can do, and a lot of information out there that you guys can see to allow you to really, compare and contrast different areas of Mexico. And so, again, you might want to move to Merida or not, or you might want to go to Playa del Carmen, or you might want to go to Puerto Escondido or Oaxaca or San Miguel de Allende. I don't know, whatever. The point is that today, you guys have a lot more information available to you, and you guys can make a better decision as to where you're going to go. So a lot of you guys in the audience assumed that when I moved out here, there was all this information, and then I did a lot of work and homework and did all this stuff, in order to prepare myself, okay, to come out here. But that really wasn't the case. And I mean, the reality is that like I probably spent a day, 2 days, 3 days tops, on figuring out where I was going to land. In fact, I think I figured it all out in one day, and it was like 2 days of me trying to convince myself to like, all right, we got to go. There's nothing here. You can't stay in the USA. This is not going to be good for you. Yada, yada, yada. You got to go. And that's it. And I basically convinced myself, and man, it was the best decision I ever made. I cannot believe of all the things that have happened in the last 6 years. Because, again, for people that have been following me long enough, here, let's take a quick trip down memory lane for a quick second so you guys can see something here. All right, so this is my obviously my YouTube page, where you're watching this on at the moment. By the way, quick little plug. Remember, after we're done with the live stream here, we go live on my other channel, Jose Unleashed. Okay, so please, if you guys want to, have some fun and be entertained and laugh a little bit, go check it out. I'm going to put the link in the description. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now, but the link is also in the description and in the comment section. So please feel free to hang out with me over there today. We're going to be talking about how I was able to escape the matrix. Okay, that's what we're talking about today over there. But anyways, I digress. Let's get back to what I was talking about here. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So this is my original channel. Where? Oh, see, I don't even have it here. I gotta put it on there. There it is. This is my original channel. Okay. Hey, hold on a second. Okay, this is my original channel. So you guys can see here, you know what I mean? Let's just go to oldest, okay? And you guys can see there, look, again, I got videos 8, 9 years old, okay? They're about to hit 9 years, okay? You can see, you know, I was doing pretty well. You know, you can watch these videos if you're interested. You know, you can see I was doing really well in Seattle. You can see the progression as to, you know, eventually how I ended up, okay? You know, out here. Okay, this is when I was in LA, you know, doing some gigs, doing some work, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, you know, these are the last videos I did, you know, before I moved out here, and then right here, moving to Merida, Mexico, and then the adventure begins, okay? But if you look at some of my videos here, you can see some of the titles. I had to delete some of these videos, not delete, but like I had to, you know, put some of these videos away because YouTube, you know, not having it, okay, with the things I was talking about. In fact, to the point where, you know, I was talking about cryptocurrency. I was talking about, you know, conspiracy theories. You know, I was talking about all kinds of things like that. And I wasn't that far off because, again, you know, you guys were here the last 6 years, right? You know, on planet Earth. You guys have seen what's going on and what's going on right now. So I wasn't that far off, you know, with my predictions and what I was talking about back then. But I was mixing. So the minute I landed here, as you guys can see that the minute I landed in Merida, I was filming my adventure out here. I was filming, you know, my life out here. And again, because I figured, okay, before I moved out here, there was nobody making content on living out here, and especially living and moving out here with nothing. All right, most people, you know, moved out here with something, or they were retired or whatever it was, and so, you know, definitely there was no content, okay, that fit that profile. So I was like, all right, well, let me at the very least, you know, start documenting it, because again, as you guys just saw, I was documenting a lot of my life already, you know, on YouTube. So I was like, all right, why not? Let me just start documenting this and start, you know, let me start documenting, start telling people, you know, about, you know, well, if they want to leave, you know, what, you know, it could be like, what it looks like, you know, what my adventure was like, yada, yada, yada. Plus, at that point, you know, I had a little bit of an audience. You know, it was still under 1,000 subscribers on this channel. But again, I had, you know, followers, you know, they followed me for various reasons. And so obviously I wanted to keep them updated on my Mexican adventure. And so there was, you know, many reasons why I was doing all that. But I never separated the two. You know, meaning that, you know, one day I would make a video about living in Mexico, and then the next day I'm making a video as to, you know, why they got FEMA camps, you know, showing up, and, you know, Bitcoin, and, you know, a future pandemic, and God knows, you know, all the other things, you know, that I was talking about. So the point is that eventually, you know, it came down to the point where YouTube said, you know what, we gotta ding this guy, we gotta get rid of this guy, or we don't like what he's saying on the channel. So they basically took my channel away. All right, so they basically deleted my channel. By the way, I was able to get it back. This is why we're watching it here. But when they did this, that was a big wake-up call to me, where I was like, oh, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Like, I need a new channel. And this is where I started this channel. Okay, that's why you see this channel was created. See, look, if you click here, it was created in December of 2019. There it is. See, look, December 23rd. By the way, that's when YouTube deleted my channel. December 23rd of 2019. So on December 23rd of 2019, they deleted this channel. And I was in panic mode, freaking the hell out. Horrible Christmas. Right before I got married. No bueno. Okay. And but anyways, I started this channel. Okay, and then I decided, okay, what am I going to do on this channel? Well, on this channel, it's going to be only my travel content, only my content about living in Mexico. All right, and that's it. That's what this channel's been all about since then. And you know, I still made content on this channel. All right, you know, you can keep going down. You know, you can see all kind. Here, I'll show you one of the videos. You know, so you guys can see this is what I did. You know. the kind of stuff that I would do. This is when I landed here, this is, some of this stuff I would do. I had clients, I would seek out here, and I would do things for them, or I would do these for me. This is how I was, showing Merida, Yucatan to the world, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, man. So at the end of the day, like, let's just watch this real quick. I take a little breather here. Some of you guys have seen this before, some of you guys haven't. But all this has changed so much, man, in recent years. It's insane. When I go down to El Centro now, I mean, sometimes I don't even recognize it. This whole area has totally changed. The streets have changed. So much has changed. Old ass phone, my old. Anyways, all right. I'm gonna let it play with in the background while I talk. But anywho's. So this was the area that this channel was basically taken away from me, and I had to create a new channel, which is where I created this channel. All right, and I just kept documenting my life out here in Merida. But on top of that, I started documenting my adventures because. As I was with Christian, we started to travel. We went to Cuba because I had to renew my tourist visa. All right. I wasn't going to go back to the USA. I was like, all right, let's go to Cuba. So I went to Cuba, and I was able to renew my FMM tourist visa. Then eventually I got married, and we went to places like Oaxaca. We've been to Mexico City multiple times, and long story short, we were, I was documenting some of these things, and, that's why I named it Jose Arteaga Travels, even though most of the time I'm just traveling around my own city, but that's, I digress, isn't that the point? The reason behind all that was, like I said, I had to start that new channel because they took this channel away from me, but as time passed, and, as time passed, what was happening was that I really wasn't getting any traction. Okay, I really wasn't getting any traction with the videos that I was making when it came to talking about conspiracy or Bitcoin or whatever. But I was getting tons of traction, with all my travel content. So as time went on, well, they already dinged me on this channel. Eventually, they demonetized me. They went really, really hard to censor me and quiet me. So I was like, you know what? Whatever. It's not even worth it anymore. I don't live in that world anymore. I'm living out here in paradise. I have an amazing life. And this is fun. This is enjoyable. So I just kept doing that. And then before, we knew it, like I said, I just stopped making content, for this channel. Just simply because it wasn't worth it anymore. It just wasn't worth it, because what happened was that, like, after the COVID thing started in early 2020, and I was, again, basically making videos on this channel about that and warning people and letting people know what was going to happen, what was coming down the pike. And I quickly realized that nobody cared. Nobody was listening. I was talking to a wall. That's what, and I saw all the zombies, all the NPCs, whatever. You guys were there. You guys, were, on planet Earth the last 4 years. So you guys kind of remember all that. And so because of that, I was like, all right, I was really disheartened. And so I was like, I quit. I just basically quit making, videos talking about certain topics that, well, nobody cared about. And so I just started to talk about topics that people did care about, because then as the pandemic went on, well, obviously, I couldn't really make any travel content because, well, nobody was able to even leave their house, okay, especially in the USA and Canada. Not here. Here, Mexico was wide open. So I saw Mexico was wide open, okay? I saw Mexico was going the complete opposite direction of all the other countries in many aspects, okay, when it came to the pandemic. And so I was like, okay, great. I guess that's what we're going to be covering on my travel channel, because I had nothing else to cover. What was I going to cover on this channel? You know what I mean? Remember, everything was closed. Things were in we were in weird land, okay? And everything was really, we were in the pandemic, okay? When things were bad. So then that's I couldn't really make the travel content that I used to. So then all of a sudden, that's when I started to focus on, again, on the travel channel. And again, I had to get rid of these videos as well. Okay, just simply because YouTube doesn't like them. So, and again, it's already beyond, a moot point. But during the pandemic, what I would do is that I was making videos, okay, on living out here in Merida. But, what was going on out here? Because a lot of people were very, very curious, what's going on in Mexico. Because, again, there was a lot of things that were going on in their own home country, all over the world. Every country was going through their thing. And Mexico was very mild in comparison to what was going on in the USA or Canada, for example. So a lot of people, they obviously were looking to get out even faster. And they were looking into Mexico. And, well, I was showing them what it was like. I was really showing them what life was like out here during the pandemic. And then more and more people, started to subscribe and watch my videos and so on and so forth. And then, once the pandemic was over, well, that's when I really, started to, gear, put into another gear and really focus on showing you guys life out here. And, well, you guys have been watching me and you guys can see my videos. I started to do interviews. I was driving around the truck. I started to cover topics that nobody else was covering because by this time, well, a lot of there was a lot of YouTubers that just were born out of nothing. Remember when I first came out here, there was no YouTubers, and then, a few years down the line, there was tons of YouTubers living all over Mexico and in Merida. From my understanding, there's like 100 YouTubers out here. I don't know any of them, but whatever. They know me. Everybody knows me, right? But the point is that, I started to cover things that other people weren't covering or other angles or whatever. Because by that time, well, there was a lot of, and then today, there's a lot more information out there. So I was like, all right, well, there's other topics and there's other things that are important, when it comes to moving to another country that, well, I need to cover, that people want to know about. And so that's what I just started to, focus on more than anything else. And, eventually, this channel, which is the original channel where I did this, started everything on. I had just abandoned it because, like I said, it was demonetized. It was taken down. At that point, I was trying all kinds of things. So me and my friend, we would do. I think this is probably the last video I did on my channel. Some of the last videos. Hold on, there you go. See, like 2 years ago. Look at that, 260 views, 220 views. And so eventually what I started to do is like I abandoned this channel and I started making content. I started doing a podcast and we started uploading it to this channel. And eventually, it just died. It just died. Like I said, I don't get any views on this channel. And so, but I still wanted to make content, other than the travel stuff. And so then, I have a cooking channel, for some of you guys so I did that for a while. Okay, a live cooking channel. So I would cook live. All right. So here, just to give you an example. You see, I had like a 3-camera setup. All right, you guys can see. We're making some hummus, and we're doing chicken souvlaki. We made some pita bread because I used to be a chef. All right, so this is really what I want to do, but that's, it takes a lot of money and effort, all right? So that's why you don't see me cooking anymore. All right, but this is really, really, really the avenue I want to keep going down eventually. But regardless, I was doing this, and I did it for a long time, and again, this wasn't really, growing or this really was putting me more in the negative, financially than helping me out. So eventually I had to abandon this just simply because, well, I had to pay the bills. And so, but whatever. But I've done a lot of things on YouTube is what I'm trying to get at. But eventually, I abandoned the podcast because it wasn't working. We had to abandon the cooking channel because it wasn't working. And the only thing that was working, the only thing that has been working for me, and for you guys out there in the audience has been this channel, the channel that you're watching all this on. This is why this is, the one that's grown the most and the one that I make the most content for and so on and so forth. But I still got my creative juices that are still, percolating down below. And so at the beginning of this year, I started this other channel, which is Jose Unleashed. And now here, I'm going back to the original format, original kind of stuff that I used to do back in the day, but now with 9 years of experience, and not just on YouTube, but life experience, and I could go on and on. So, well, now this is actually doing really good. This channel is doing very well, and a lot of it has to do with you. Again, if you guys ever want to help me out and for free, go to my other channel, Jose Unleashed, and go subscribe over there, please, if you haven't already. And go watch some of those videos. I also have, it's like a podcast format, so you can listen, okay, on Spotify, for free or whatever, okay. So you can listen, you don't have to watch. But the point I'm making is that, I went back to square one. And this is what that channel is all about. And so on this channel, I tell you guys stories of my life, because I've had a gazillion stories. So you guys can check those out and see, look down below. And I talk about all kinds of things, I'm not just life stories. Like the time I worked at a strip club, the time I lived in Seattle, why I quit being a conspiracy theorist, and then, regular topics, why are people so stupid? Talk about certain things like, whatchamacallit, like news events or things in the news that, again, the point is that this is what I'm focusing on over there, just like I'm focusing on this channel. But this is to keep my creative juices afloat and going. But again, why I moved to Merida, why I moved to Mexico, a lot of it had to do was because I was already doing YouTube. I knew I didn't want to live in the USA anymore. Things were just getting more and more difficult. I wanted to keep doing this, which is the equivalent of like playing a guitar, playing in a band, at the local watering hole, at the local bar, not really making any money, just doing it out of pure love. But this is what I want to do. And I knew, what, if I moved to Mexico, and if I moved to the cheapest place in Mexico, again, this is 6 years ago, I'm going to be able to do these videos, these YouTube stuff to my heart's content. And then again, I only need to make $1,000 or $1,500. Well, at that point, I only needed to make around $1,000 a month to pay my bills. So I could definitely earn that online, doing all the various things that I was doing or could do. And then I could dedicate my time, my free time, to making YouTube videos and growing that and continuing to do this because it's what I love to do. And now, it's finally paying dividends where now I can finally, make a living off of this. Again, I'm still making $1,000 or $1,500 a month, but now it's all, stemming from, my videos, my consulting, when you guys buy a t-shirt, assuming you buy a t-shirt or a mug or whatever it is, and so on and so forth. And so I've been able to turn this into a business, into something that now helps many individuals out there. So again, for those of you guys that know, the reason, for now that you guys have heard my story, now you have a little bit more background as to why on my channel, I give everything away for free. I give everything away for free. So what does that mean? Well, I make videos like the video I did the other day, complete list of all your Mexican residency options. I don't keep these things behind the paywall, okay? And only keep it for people that pay me. No. Everything is free for everybody. Again, let's do cost of living. I give you a very detailed cost of living breakdown. The hurricane. I give you a live, look into the hurricane. While the hurricane was going on, I was out there. Show you what it's like to help local communities. Show you what it's like, for people that live out here. Some of my more successful and popular videos on the channel are interviewing people out there in the audience or showing people, what they can do. Let's say if you want to be a digital nomad or you need, a way to bank out here without any kind of banking. Hold on a second. Gizmo just joined me. He opened the door, so I had to close it there. What happened, Gizmo? You all right? Hold on a second, guys. Sorry, my apologies. I got Gizmo. Here, hey, Lambo, can you take it for a minute? Sorry about that. All right. Gizmo. But anywho's, you know, I like to inform you guys in ways that others don't. So like, look, one of the things that I'm doing now, a new thing that I'm doing, which by the way, it seems like you guys didn't like this video, but I think a lot of it has to do with just the fact that this goes a little bit outside of the things that I normally do on the channel. And in this video, what did I do? We walked around. You know, I used some of the raw footage that I use in my videos, and I just gave you the raw footage. You know, meaning, you know, I just edited a few things here and there, you know, just to get a cohesive kind of walkthrough, and edited the sound a little bit here and there. But for the most part, I left it as raw as possible, so you guys can get an idea of what it's like to walk around here, and what it sounds like, and what it feels like. You know, everything but smell. You know, you know, I give you all the senses there. And again, I do all this stuff for free. The reason I do it for free is, again, because as what I was telling you guys earlier in my story, I came out here with nothing and had to figure everything out on my own. So what I'm trying to do with all this is, again, pay it forward and show you guys, okay, how it can be done. Okay, doesn't matter what your income level is or what your situation is. If you're willing to do it, there's a way. Okay, if you really want it bad enough, there's a way. And so that's what I try to emphasize, and I try to show you guys in all of my videos throughout all of my channel. I mean, throughout this channel. Okay, just simply because, again, that information wasn't available for me. The only thing that was available to me was, you know, the experience I had, the want and the desire that I had, you know, to come out here and make it work. All right. And you know, all the struggle that I've been through in my past, you know, life before that. And so to me, I was like, all right, I think I got the tools to come out here and make it out here. And I did. But as I've been out here, I realized that not everybody has the same tool shed that I do. And so this is why, again, I give you guys the truth. I mean, you know, some people like it, some people don't. You know, again, you guys can see it in you know, some of my more popular videos. You can see it's like why most Americans will not survive living in Mexico. Or again, I'll show you again, interviews with Americans or foreigners that have made it out here in Mexico of all income levels. Okay, it's not, you know, again, you know, people that have a you know, nice fancy house, or people that just have a regular normal house, or whatever it is. And I talk about topics that other people don't like. Let's say cannabis in this case, or whatever it is, and so on and so forth. And so this is kind of what's made my channel unique, and it has allowed me to continue, you know, making content without getting bored or hating it, just simply because I'm always challenging myself, and I'm doing things that I want to do, and I'm here helping all of you guys out, and it's turned into like this community now. You know, now where it's becoming very interesting, you know, to see the community that I built, and we're all building together out there, because now there's so many people that have moved out here. You guys are all over Mexico. I've focused more on talking about living in Mexico as opposed to just living in Merida, Yucatan. And, you know, again, you guys have all helped me out in the community, because there's a lot of you guys that are living all over Mexico, that have made it out here recently, or have been out here for a while, and we're all basically helping each other out. But at the end of the day, it's more about helping you out in the audience that has not come out here yet. And in recent years, okay, as things have gotten worse and worse and worse where you're at, well, you guys are now in the same position I was in over 6 years ago, before I moved out here, where basically you're just one paycheck away, all right, or one emergency away, or one situation away from living on the street, living out of your car, losing everything, yada, yada, yada. And so now more and more you guys, and again, as you guys are seeing everything that's going on in the USA or Canada, wherever you're at, you guys see that, well, things are just getting worse and more difficult for you to get out. More difficult, you know, get out of the, you know, your country and move to another country. Things are getting more difficult in your country. You know, things are, you know, getting more, you know, you're losing hope. And I can go on and on. And so a lot of you guys out there, not everybody wants to sit there, and not everybody wants to stay behind in USA or Canada and fight the good fight. A lot of people, you know, we're already a certain age and you want to live your life. That's it. You want to hear you want to live your life, or you have a family with kids and you want to give them the best life possible, want to put them in the best situation possible, and so on and so forth. And so, that's just the reality of things. Things have changed dramatically and in the last several years. And when I first came out here 6 years ago, everybody thought I was crazy. I was insane for moving out here. Now, 6 years later, I'm like Nostradamus or whatever, and I'm like, I had to quickly remind people, I'm here with a talking horse, okay? What are you trying to say? What are you saying, huh? What are you saying? This guy. Anyway, so look, the point is that, my channel, for a lot of you guys out there that are new in the audience that don't know my story, don't know how I landed here, don't know anything about that, you guys always wonder, why I do what I do on my channel. Why I'm always helping everybody out. Why do I give so much of, not so much, why do I give everything away for free? And a lot of it, like I said, has to do with the fact that when I came out here, I had nothing. I had no resources, had absolutely zero. And, everything I'm doing would have been extremely helpful and useful to me, in my first times, before I moved out here and eventually when I moved out here. So that's kind of like the information that I like to provide for you guys and show you guys so that you guys can also have that information. Because again, I don't know your situation. And so, for example, if you are in a similar situation like I was, where you don't have many resources, you don't have much money, you don't have much anything, one thing that you do have is time. Well, even if you don't have time, you got to make the time. But you can do your own research and follow, watch my videos and do, research on the things that I've done, on my website and so on and so forth. Because again, look, I'll show you my website. You see, I got right here, free resources for living in Mexico. All right. And as soon as you click on that, again, links, okay, to help you find local real estate websites, the local price. So again, I learned all this from a local, okay, on how to find, or, what are the websites like, rentals.com, apartments.com, Craigslist, whatever. What is the Mexican version of that? So I did a video telling you how you can find, places to live. Then, things that you need to know before renting. All right. Top 20 questions about moving to Mexico. Things that I didn't know before I moved out here. Now I do. So now I told you guys, I made a whole video about it. A banking solution for some of you guys that need a bank. I wish I would have had something like this when I first moved out here, because I was so poor in the USA, I couldn't even get a bank account. But hey, there's a banking solution for people. Apostles, something that I needed for when I was going to get married to Christian. Again, I found, how to do it, and now I'm giving you that information. Or other things, you know what I mean? Like, a translator app, a portable translator for some of you guys out there that don't speak any Spanish. You can use the app. Some of you guys that are young, and you guys are looking for something, a career that you could do, and become a digital nomad. Again, I did an interview with somebody to show you how to do that. If you need a Mexican lawyer for whatever reason, you're buying a home, you need to do your taxes, you got a business out here, or you simply just need your residency. All right. Again, I've done videos talking about all those subjects and then some. Another video about residency. Look, and so then down here, a list of digital nomad jobs. So you got a list of jobs and gigs. Okay. These are some of the things that I used to do when I first moved out here and I needed to make some money. So again, a link. So again, all this is free. There are so many YouTubers. Again, God bless them, and I wish everybody the best. But there's many, many, many YouTubers out there that basically are giving you the same information I'm giving you, but they're charging you for it, and I'm doing it for free. Now, I do charge you people for something, and that's only one thing, okay? That's a personalized consultation. It's because so many of you guys want to reach out to me and talk to me one-on-one. And you think that's free. You think I'm just here waiting. As soon as I turn the camera off, I'm just sitting here waiting patiently for people to reach out to me so I can, spend all afternoon talking to them about whatever. I don't got time. I'm living my own life. I'm making videos. I'm doing all these things. But a lot of you guys, don't have the time, okay, to watch all my videos to get all that information. But what you do have is, $100 or 2,000 pesos or whatever. You have, a few bucks to pay me for my time so that I can talk to you and answer all of your questions that I've already answered in all of my videos like this, or questions that maybe I can't answer in my videos. There's a few not many. But long story short, all I'm trying to say is that I only charge for that, or if you go all the way at the top right next to digital nomad jobs, look right there at the top, okay? You see, right next to digital nomad jobs, you click on that and it takes you to my store. So in case you guys want to buy a t-shirt, buy a mug, whatever, all right? Or just send a donation. But again, all this stuff, whether you send a donation or buy a t-shirt, is not just to help support the show, okay? So that I can continue doing this, okay? But on top of that, it's helping everybody else out there, because the more I continue doing this, the more people I get to help out. And, there's people in the audience, like I said, that have a similar story to mine. Other people in the audience that, you guys did very well in life, and now you're just looking for the best retirement option possible. And, again, we're all helping each other out here, okay, in one shape, form, or another. And that's all I'm trying to do, like, honestly, And so, really how I benefit from all this, on top of the fact that, I get to make a living by helping you guys, but it's all the other stuff that I was showing you guys, meaning that, what I really, really want to do is eventually be, back to my financial stability days. I want to be able to make enough money eventually again, where I get to focus on things like this, or my cooking channel, okay, or the other endeavors that I like to do, and so on and so forth. So it's like, we're all helping each other out, okay? I love to entertain. I love to do YouTube and make videos. I love to do these things. And so right now, this is why I focus on this channel, because this channel, whether you're watching a advertisement, in the video, at the beginning, at the middle, whatever, that helps pay for the bills, or, you guys send a few bucks here and there, that pays the bills, and so on and so forth. And I'm allowed to, again, continue to grow, continue to help, and continue to build this huge community that is benefiting all of us. And again, I'm continuing to inform you guys. As of now, I'm starting to make videos. Again, back how I used to make videos, which is, again, when I used to walk and talk. Not do the voiceovers. I still do those, and we're still going to do those. But the walk and talks, meaning that I walking around Merida during, different parts of Merida, and I'm showing you guys and talking to you guys about life out here and how it has changed. We just made one video and it did really good. We're going to be making more videos talking about more topics and how life really is out here in Merida, because, again, I'm just trying to give you guys the proper information so you guys can make the right decision. You guys don't want to find out last minute, or find out once you're moved out here, that you made the wrong decision. Merida's not for everybody. All right. Just like Guadalajara might not be for everybody, or Tijuana's not for everybody. Some people love Tijuana, some people hate it. Some people love Merida, some people hate it. And so it's things like that. And I'm just trying to, help you guys out and educate you guys as best as possible, so you guys can make the best, most informed decision possible. Because again, things have changed dramatically. Again, when I first moved to Merida, it was the cheapest, most affordable place to live in Mexico, and now it is in the top 5 of the most expensive places to live. Okay, that's just one of the changes, all right, that has happened out here. But again, all the changes that have also happened during COVID, all the building, infrastructure additions that have happened, not just here, but all over Mexico and many different regions, and so on and so forth. So Mexico has changed a lot, just like the USA and Canada have changed a lot, but for the worse. The USA and Canada, and some parts of Europe have changed for the worse. Well, complete opposite here in Mexico. It's actually been changing for the better. Mexico is enjoying a giant economic boom. They're expecting it to boom even further. They're growing exponentially on every basically metric that you can measure. And things are, they're looking up, they're looking up on the up and up out here. Things are looking really good. And, obviously there's going to be more content to come of that. There's going to be even more information to be relaying to you guys as things continue to change out here, good and bad. But I know you guys are interested in it. But anyways, I cannot believe that I've already talked straight without even taking a breath for 1 hour and 20 minutes, give or take. Holy guacamole. I saw Henry out there. Shout out to Henry. Sorry I didn't acknowledge you earlier. I was going on my rant there, but shout out to Henry with the $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Saludos to you. Anyway, saludos. Henry asks, what has been my favorite part about living in Merida so far? Honestly, the fact that it's close to the beach and the weather. The weather is, sometimes I hate it, sometimes I love it. But for the most part, it's always beach weather. So I love that. I love the fact that there's a lot of Cuban influence out here. Like I said, I love the fact that it's really close to Miami for my family to come visit and friends to come visit. It's in a really good spot for people to come visit me as well. It's very touristy. It's very similar to the way that I kind of grew up in Miami. So there's a lot of things, that I like and love about here. So, yeah. But anyway, shout out to everyone out there. If you guys have any questions, any comments, anything you guys want to ask me or bring up in the, as we're talking here, please let me know. Oh, thank you so much, Diana. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Look at that. That's what we're talking about. Thank you. Much appreciated. Muchas gracias. That's very nice of you. All right. So, let me see. How's Gizmo? Oh, Gizmo's doing great. He's actually getting a little fat because I started to feed him a little bit, give him breakfast. And so now we're putting him on a diet. And man, okay, so before he used to just eat once a day, get a lot of exercise and all this other stuff. And now he still gets a lot of exercise, but now he eats twice a day, maybe 3 times a day, if I'm cooking and I give him a little something here or there. But long story short, he's gotten a little fat, just like me. By the way, I put this shirt on today, which I remember when I got it, and it fit so nice, so perfectly. And I was putting this on today, and I was like trying to fit. I was like, so tight on me. I'm like, fuck, I'm getting fat. But again, you know it. When you're getting fat, for the most part, what it means is that you're happy. I'm very happily married. I can honestly say that. And everything's going great in life. Of course, we have ups and downs. Nothing's perfect. It's been a really good year in some aspects, but a really rough year financially. But it's fine. At the end of the day, are you kidding me? It's an amazing year. Really, really good year. And very happy. Out here, like I said, I'm not starving. Okay, me and Gizmo are getting extra fat. Okay, it is what it is. But Gizmo's doing great. He's doing awesome. He's getting a little older. I think he's like 7 years old now. 8 years old. So obviously things are changing there, and you know how it is. But yeah, no, things are going good. Shout out to you. Thank you, Hugo, for asking. Thank you, Mary, Gwen. Dungan, thank you so much. By the way, I see you all the time leaving comments, so shout out to you. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Glad you guys are enjoying the show. Really appreciate that. So shout out to Mary for the $10 super chat. Shout out to Diana for the $10 super chat as well, both of you guys. And shout out to... Hey, sorry, come on. Hey, what did I do here? I froze something. And shout out to Henry with the $2 super chat. Shout out to all of you guys. And shout out again to Nino, to Tommy, and to Melania. Shout out to all 3 of you guys as well. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all the love and support. And I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed the show today. Again, sometimes I don't even know how the show's going to go. I surprise myself, by the time I finish doing what I'm doing. So again, I was, happily surprised that today's show was actually pretty good. And that you guys enjoyed story time and enjoyed, hearing about how I ended up out here. But yeah, to me, I love Mexico. I love Mexico. Saved my life multiple times, and I really love it out here. I love everything about, the culture, the people, the food, the everything, all right? And each region is very different, obviously, just like in the USA. So this region where I live is, basically we're in the middle of nowhere, but, we're in paradise. To me, the way I like to look at this area is what Florida used to be 30, 40 years ago. So again, it's very similar to Florida in that sense. And so that's one thing I love, about living out here as well, is because it reminds me of old Florida, the Florida that I grew up in, with my, again, when I was a kid, and we used to go, vacation and travel all over the place. In fact, it's the one thing we're missing is Disney and Universal and all that stuff. But outside of that, all the other Florida stuff we got. All right, in one shape, form, or another. Oh, shout out to Rodney. Thank you, Rodney Ed. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Shout out to all of you guys out there. Really appreciate it. And by the way, guys, if you're out there in the audience and you do want to send me something or you want to help me, but you can't because you're in a similar situation as I was or am, and obviously, you can't just, send a $2 because, that's, going to determine whether you're going to miss a meal or not. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There's a million ways that you can help me out. Okay? Simply, again, you can hit the likes. If you haven't hit the like yet, don't forget to hit a like, the like button. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Share this content. Again, share it with a friend, share it with an enemy. I'm trying to see if I can get that thing to work. Hold on. It only works when it wants to work. Whatever. Anyways. The stupid automated AI thing or whatever I got there. Anyways, let me see. Maybe it has to see my thumbs ups. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, guys. Nope. There you go. All right. Yay. All right. It worked. Okay. So, but the point is that, there's ways that you can help out. Again, you can share the video, share it with a friend, share it with an enemy, share it in a Facebook group, whatever. You know what I mean? Share it all over the internet, plaster my face all over the place. It's all good. So, there's ways that you can help out. Again, if you have information, you can leave it in the comments. You can help answer questions. You can leave a comment, even if it's just saying, hey, love the show, Jose. It helps. Everything helps. Okay, so like I said, for some of you guys out there that have a few bucks and you can send it, our way, again, to help support the community and support everything we're doing here. Again, I love you guys. You guys are the real MVPs. Thank you. But everyone else out there, again, there's multiple ways in which you can help. Again, look, just like when I was doing this video, when we were helping out the Mayan people, we were, the poor people living on the outskirts of the city and stuff like that. Again, some people donate eggs, some people donate money, some people donate time. Some people donate, volunteering. And so on and so forth. So there's many ways in which we can all help each other out here. And this is why I also do what I do, because, I'm putting in I'm doing my part. Okay. I'm giving you guys, again, a lot of information, a lot of useful tools so that you guys can use as well, for your own, help or to help other people or whatever it is. So regardless, we all have our ways of helping. And again, this is why I do what I do. I'm just trying to build good karma. For many reasons, I'm all about that. Again, there's a lot, you get so much more from giving than receiving, which is why I like to, again, give and help out. You notice that I try to answer all the questions in the comments, or try to answer all your comments. And I try, I'm trying as hard as I can. It's not that easy, but I love it. I love doing it. And I love, again, being able to help you guys out and being able to, get those success stories from you guys. When you guys tell me about, how successful, your situation has been, so, and that I was able to help or whatever, and look, sometimes you guys send me messages saying, hey, Jose, thank you so much for telling it like it is and showing it like it is, because you made me realize I don't want to move to Mexico and I should just move to another part of the USA. So like I said, I help you guys out in every way possible. That's why I like to show you guys the truth, show you guys exactly what it looks like out here and what it feels like. And, again, as much as I can with the limited resources I have, in order so you guys out there can make the right decision. Because, that's the thing too. I feel like knowledge and information is, the most undervalued tool out there, undervalued thing out there that most people, they just, again, for whatever reason, some people know the value of it and they try to, make you pay for that knowledge. And other people out there, they give it away for free. I know I'm not the only one. I know there's other people out there that do similar things like what I do. And I don't try to make no bones about it. At the end of the day, I am trying to make a living out here, but it's like everything else. We're all helping each other out. And that's it. And if I get to do what I love and at the same time help you guys out or help people out in the audience, what more could anyone ask for? So, this is why I love what I do, and I feel blessed to be able to do what I do. And I never, look back on my life like, woe is me and playing a little violin or any of that, because if it wasn't for all the hardship that I've been through in my life, I wouldn't be here right now, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now, and I wouldn't be, helping so many people. And again, it feels good to help others out there in whatever capacity. So I try my best, all right? And I know you guys do as well, and that's all we're doing here. And so with all that being said, guys, again, I really hope to see you guys on my other channel. We're going to go live over there real soon, okay? So hopefully I'll get to see you guys there. It says we're going to go live in an hour, but we're probably going to go live earlier, all right? So I'll change that soon. All right, we're going to definitely go live real soon here. I'm going to put the link in the chat for anyone out there that wants to, continue hanging out with me and enjoy story time. So, like I said, we're going to go live over there within 30 minutes, give or take, 45 minutes. I don't know. But go over there, click on the link, check it out, and we're going to keep talking, okay? We're going to keep, basically, I'm going to tell you how I escaped the Matrix, all right? I know a lot of you guys are in the Matrix, or some of you guys have already escaped the Matrix, but regardless, we're going to be talking about that. Now, the reality is that what we're going to be talking about today over there is more about with not fitting into society, okay? I never fit in to society, but I was able to carve myself a little something in the world. And, not only did I carve myself a little something out here in this world, but now so many of you guys out there in the audience, now get to fit in that little niche. And, again, we're all now in our own little, we all got to fit into something now. So, by not fitting into anything, I was able to create my own thing. And now we got our own thing. Now we all have this thing. Okay. So, but we're going to go more in depth on that and talk about, other things as we usually do on the channel. So I hope to see you guys there. But with all that being said, guys, you already know the deal. All right. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. But again, before you go, please, guys, check out my website. Okay. For those of you guys that haven't checked out my website, I got tons of videos. Again, I got a playlist here from my old channel. Remember the one that we were talking about earlier here, this channel. Okay. So I do have a playlist. Okay. This is my old channel. All right, but anyways, I do have a playlist there on my website, okay, with some of my greatest hits, my old videos, my super old videos, that I made a gazillion years ago. Look, this one right here where it says weekend fun at the beach, right above my head, right there. I mean, that was the first time me and Christian went to the beach. All right, so you guys can see, both of us there when we were skinny and, we still weren't married and got fat, okay? By the way, it's impossible for her to get fat, okay? I'm mainly talking about myself, okay? So, but anyways, long story short is, check out the website. Like I said, I got tons of free, useful information like we already, go through all the time. Whether you're looking for a job or you're looking for specific things, like I said, just Mexico resources, and you can find them all there and so on and so forth. So, check out the website. Check out the rest of my channel, okay, for all kinds of useful information. Again, right there where it says next to store, you see where I have store highlighted? Right there, you can see a little magnifying glass, and it says search. You get to search anything there. So let's say residency, and you get all the videos on residency, or jobs. You get all these videos on jobs, or gentrification. Whatever, you get all these videos on gentrification. Okay, so use that as well. Okay, all these tools are right there for you to get all this information for free. Okay, and that's it, guys. So I think we're gonna wrap it up, and hope you guys show love to my other channels. Maybe one day we'll be able to get back in the kitchen and I get to do all that all over again. But in the meantime, you guys can enjoy me on this channel and enjoy me on Unleashed. Where I've again, unleashed the Jose, and, again, you guys have really enjoyed everything so far on that channel. It's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to continue entertaining you guys and continue making content and having fun together with all of you guys. So with that said, it's time to go. So you already know the deal, guys. I already said it. Again, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Sunday, Thursday, and in between. We're dropping more videos. I got videos on Tuesday now. So Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Sorry, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Love you guys. See ya. Bye. See you on the other channel.